Hello everyone, and welcome to the next video series that I'll probably start and never finish. I am going to be playing through the cursed city of Sintranos here. This is actually going to be the second day since the reset. I did already use my keys for this rotation on the first day, so you won't be able to see me go fight another spider. If you're curious, this is the team I used, nothing too crazy. I did manual it actually just so I can make sure that the AoEs weren't coming in at the wrong time. I'm going to go over my strategy in a little bit. Couple things I want to call out though. First of all, let me know down below if you're going for the fusion here of Zinagre. She seems like a pretty cool champion. I think I'm definitely going to be going for her. However, I'm not going to sacrifice future fusions to do so, if that makes sense. So, for example, if the summon requirements at a ridiculous level or those sorts of things, I'm definitely going to pass on her. Just because she seems okay, but, definitely not the best, to say the least. I would rather have this guy here, who we're getting for free anyways. He seems like a significantly better champion, although, of course, we don't actually get to tell for sure until we've collected him. So, the other thing I want to call out real quick, too, is we actually have 100% gear removal cost reduction here, so make sure to actually take gear off champions you don't need, because, it's going to be free right now, so definitely a good time to re-gear anybody if you need for Cursed City. As far as Cursed City goes, though, what I want to do actually is I want to try and get over to here as quick as possible, because this is where I got stuck last rotation. So I made a video on Cornelia soloing this, which you can find, on my channel there, of course. But then I got stuck at S6 right after here, so that was a little bit disappointing. But this stuff over here, I was able to beat reasonably easy, so I'm not too worried about this. But basically this whole gate area here of Soul Cross is locked behind like this one particular path, so you need to kind of work your way through that. Struggled with this boss last rotation as well here, so we're gonna go ahead and hop in. We got 8 keys, so we got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Maybe we'll split off like that for today. Yeah, I think that'll probably do well, so let's go ahead and see what we can run here. I'm kind of in the way of seeing the champs, but nothing too crazy. So I do have Taurus and Marichka. It makes this content significantly easier, let's be honest. If you don't have Taurus and Marichka, somebody like a Magnar's an amazing damage dealer. You can bring, shoot, what is her name? Ursala, to bring some survivability and whatnot. Fellhound would be a good damage dealer. Apothecary for survivability, who I'll probably bring actually. Bivald just for some provokes and whatnot. And then I think I'll actually bring... Let's do Stagnite. I don't think Stagnite is speed tuned to go with the rest of my team, but that's okay. We'll have to wait and see, I suppose. I don't know. It's one of those weird things. So like when I got Taurus and Marichka, I was super excited because you see how OP they are everywhere, right? But then it's kind of one of those things where it's like once you actually start using them, you become less excited because they don't seem as good ever when you're using them. Like when I go against these two in live arena or something like that, I would just get demolished every time, but then I start using them and they're just okay. I'm going to turn down the game a little bit just to make sure it's not too loud on the video there. So I didn't turn down the game, I turned down the audio on the stream, but you know what I mean. Bit of trial and error here, I suppose. So we got the provoke on Ugo, which means she ain't going to revive, which is nice. I was thinking about this recently, actually, and Uko, Mighty Uko, is basically just a on-steroids version of Ugo, which is kind of funny because she's got the decreased defense and block debuffs. He's got the buff strip and block buffs. Let's go ahead, let's hit the next level here. I'm going to bring cardio. I do have some very strong champions for this content, I won't lie. I'm going to bring her... Actually, no, that'd be kind of redundant. Do I have a good strong nuker? Not really somebody that's built, so I'll bring UDK just to help soak up some hits. Venus and Syl, something like this. A little bit of survivability. We got to revive if somebody goes down. Cardio does bring the revive on death, but obviously if somebody's just dead, he can't revive them, so... Let's see if we can just blast through this content fairly quickly. Something I've been considering doing recently as well is actually building out Lady Mikage for use in Fire Knight Hard. Partly because the new fusion obviously is supposed to be very good for Fire Knight, and she is from the Shadowkin, so Mikage's A1 is going to work very well with her. I'm just going to manual this just so we don't dump all of our abilities into this guy that has frozen on him, which is very annoying, by the way. I don't think I ever removed debuff, do I? Or remove buff? I don't think so. That is a shame. And of course I have the decreased turn meter on everybody, because why would my god. I'm gonna use this. You know what? We're gonna redo this. I don't want to sit here forever and just bore everybody, including myself, so we're gonna run it again. I'll probably manual this first wave just to make sure he goes down first. So you're gonna die. He puts the freeze on himself there. And not the freeze, sorry, the block damage, of course he does. Forgot about that. She doesn't have. Just gonna go ahead and blast you. And then you. Hopefully he takes a turn here, but we'll see. No decreased turn meter, plus. Perfect. Syl is probably gonna. Yeah, it's a little bit annoying. But not much you can do here, unfortunately. Decreased turn meter. No? Okay. Nice. Syl, don't do it. Okay, nice. She didn't do it, but she decreased the speed, which is not good. It's going to make him go slower. Make it take longer to get the turn. Have you guys noticed that the audio in Sintranos is a little bit questionable? Like, it just kind of randomly cuts and it doesn't really transition very smoothly and whatnot. That's something I've noticed as well. Like when you get into the location, first of all, it just randomly transitions to the Sintranos music, and then like in this, for example, it feels like there's like a couple different songs playing and they're just not layered well. Like those transitions are just not smooth. There we go. My god. Past him. A Kemptum is actually a champion I want to build out as well. I got him recently. He's fantastic. From everything I've seen, at least. As you can see so far, like, this content right now is not very difficult. Like, you can pretty much just blast through this with whatever champions you have. That being said, my Yakaro, for example, he's definitely not a slouch. He's built out for Dark Fae as well as Fire Knight hard, so he does a decent amount of damage, good speed, good accuracy. There we go. We're through. 15 medium pots. Not a very good reward, to be honest, for beating some of the hardest content in the game. Come on, Raid. We need something better than that. We're going to bring Artak and Licks. Apart from that, I might build Elegias at some point, too. He seems like a champion that would be pretty useful for this particular content, so perhaps I'll get around to that at some point. We'll bring Kreela as well, just to bring some attacks. We'll bring Gorgorab and maybe Frozen Banshee just for the aura. You can kind of just throw random teams in here, honestly, and it'll work fine for the most part. Let me just go ahead and close that so you guys aren't looking at the annoying FPS counter in the top there. I'm going to go ahead and manual the rest of this, just so they don't waste their abilities. What's her name here? Withier, she is very annoying to go against in any content you might be facing. Also, I don't like how Artak's AI opens with his A2 instead of his burn skill. Because his A2 is the burn activation, so logically you'd want the burns to be out there first, but for some reason he's like, oh, I'm gonna A2, I don't need the burns. It's kind of silly if you ask me, but... And there's his burn skill. The manualist, just make sure they don't waste their stuff. I've seen some people just trying to like speedrun this content, use as few champions, and get through it as quickly as possible. I mean, that's probably not a bad idea, but I'm thinking perhaps, hey, I can make some interesting content for people who are on their way to work or something like that. Now I attack coming through. Kreela's a very odd champion, so for those who aren't familiar, you actually have to book her for her chance of a counterattack, otherwise it's not on 100%. I wish it was just like the books basically helped your cooldowns. That being said, I have to use the washroom real quick. I'll be back when I finish up. Hello, I have returned. As you can see, we are already at a spot where we don't have much for champions in this particular situation. Certainly not much for support champions, of course, so if we die, we're dead. Apart from Duke the Pierced here, of course. Or, that's not Duke the Pierced, what am I talking about? That's Dur the Hungerer. But, in this particular situation, yeah, there's really not much to go with here. Put Ruel in. We should be able to just damage this one down. It's a good thing that they're not going to be too tanky, because I don't know if I'd be able to survive, in all honesty, but let's see. If one's easy enough. A lot of weak hits there. I don't have Ruel built out for the most damage, so it makes sense that he kind of weak hit and had some issues there. Let's go ahead and smack down Pixniel. We'll go ahead and smack down their... forget this guy's name, and it doesn't tell you here, but I'm not even familiar with what he does, to be completely honest with you. I think he was, I don't think he was a fusion at some point, no, but I'm going to go ahead and put it back on auto here. Dur actually has a stun on his A1 too, so if you build him with accuracy, you can get some good utility out of there. We're going to get some of the materials to go ahead and send some artifacts, so that'll be nice. If you have her, Kunoichi would be an absolute carry here. Somebody like a rear guard placing ally protects and stuff, she'd be good as well. I can probably beat her with these three champions, or beat it with these three champions, to be perfectly honest. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I don't need the 5 in here, it'll just slow us down. Extra people taking turns. Mikage is going to absolutely shred too with her crowd control and all that sort of good stuff. Boom. She brings in the A1. Bring in the A1 again. Don't transform. I'll make her do that, actually, because the A1 will bring in Harima, who will put him down there, even though it was a weak hit. Boom. Harima's doing some hardcore work. 46k on the A1s. That is nuts. 67k. She is, of course, built out to be my arena nuker, which certainly does help things, so, you know. Something I've noticed, too, is with the mythicals, they don't seem to want to transform unless you set that up in their AI, which I find pretty odd. So we got 3 more keys here. Let's go ahead and see what we can get done against Dark Fae. So we're going to bring Yakaro. I think we bring Mikage. I think we bring... This is tough, actually. I don't have much for turn meter control here. What have some other people been using? Nobody's beat it from my clan yet, which is always reassuring. Mikage, Yakaro, and then some other champions. Turvold is probably going to be a big one in here. Xena, of course, making her way in. Basically just a... Okay, that's a pretty cool team, actually, because they're AoEs. So 2 ally attackers, AoEs, that's all they got to do, apparently. Could do this. We'll have 2 ally attacks. We'll do this. And we'll just bring Turvold for some nukes, I guess. I'll have to manual this one. Dark Fae is a bit of a struggle to fight on auto when you don't have like a team comp set up, so... do we have CCs on the A1? We don't, so I think we're just going to go ahead and transform. And then we are going to go ahead and put out a stun. And it gets everybody. Perfect. Now we're going to go ahead and ally attack on their Mikage. She gets sheeped. Love to see it. Nuke everybody down. Nuke everybody down part 2. Buff up. And then we're going to go smack smack. Do a decent amount of damage. I think the boss has some inbuilt defenses against us here, so we got to take out the Turvold now. I'm going to try it. There we go. Okay. His reaction works for him when he's been summoned to the other side, you lucky bastard. We got a smite now, though, which is pretty nice. Anytime she uses an active skill, she's going to take a big chunky piece of damage. Just like so. I think it's going to hit for, what, 20% against the boss, which is nice. This seems to be one of those things where you're going to have to get lucky, though, with, like, the team comp and the damage you can do, kind of, because it doesn't look like there's really a way to, like, revive your champions or anything like that. We're going to go ahead and see if we can strip her. We do. Perfect. Hit Ninja's A2. He's built out high accuracy, by the way, because I'm trying to get my duo team with him and Aniri set up for Sand Devils, but it's easier said than done, it would appear. Decreasing some turn meters. Just smacking people all around. We're going to go ahead and transform here just so we can start bringing some ally attacks in, because I don't really need anything else from her alternate form anymore. Everybody's basically dealt with. I don't need to CC or anything like that. I'm actually very excited for Raid to come out on Steam as well. I know that's an update that's coming. We're supposed to get it here in January, which is going to be kind of cool. January's almost half over, though, and as far as I know, we still don't have it, so we'll have to wait and see, I suppose. There we go. Taking down Dark Fae. And some pretty meh gear, to be honest. This is a decent amount of soul coins, which is nice. Merciless crit rate with crit damage, that could be nice. Supersonic, no speed on it, though. Merciless with speed, defense, and HP. A good survival piece, but it is 5-star gear. This is hardest content in the game, by the way, and we're still getting 5-star pieces of gear. That is wild. We're going to go ahead and hit this. I'm going to bring both Cold Hearts, probably. I'm going to bring Kale for his... I'm going to bring Daithia. I'm going to bring Kale for his aura, and then I'm going to bring... probably Dark Kale for his decrease attack. We should be able to do this one on auto. I actually have Daithia built out to do a lot of damage as well, so he's going to be able to smack people up a little bit. I was using him in Faction Wars, so... Ooh. Cold Heart's almost just one-tapping here. There you go, you can see the actually... Got the extra turn there too because he placed the decreased defense on everybody. So what's nice about Daithia is I have him built out as a nuker, of course. So he's placing a decreased defense and he's doing some big damage when he's not debuffing. And on the debuff skill, he actually does a decent amount of damage too. He gives himself some extra turns and stuff like that. Overall, Daithia is a fantastic champion. Absolutely love him. There we go. We're on to the next wave. We have Yaga the Joke right here. Hopefully he gets buffed sometime. Probably not going to, though, if we're being honest. I think the only thing that would make Daithia like very OP is if his A1 had like an extra turn mechanic, kind of like Eris. So an extra turn mechanic if he kills somebody, because then he can buff himself extra turn, kill somebody A1 extra turn, place decreased defense on everybody extra turn. He would be pretty crazy if that was the case, but... And here we go. We're going to see if we can beat the Nether Spider. So, we do not have Lydia here, which would make this just super easy. You could bring damage, and basically that's it. We'll bring Geo. Obviously, he's got the HP burn. We need the burn to make sure she stays dead. We'll bring Royal Guard and Yakaro for some damage. We're going to bring Cornelia for some support. Yeah, and then I think we'll try Sky Touched as well, see if she can add some additional support with her cleanse and her block debuffs and stuff. Usually, these fights are fairly easy because the stats are significantly lower than the bosses in, like, Doom Tower, for example. There we go, we got the freeze on them, that's nice. Cornelia is using her A2 for some reason, even though I don't think anyone here can be slept. Maybe the Spiderlings, that would be about it, though. Royal Guard putting in some good work there. I need to rebuild my Royal Guard, actually. He's built like a wet noodle right now. If you have... So, with this particular boss, and I don't think we have access to it for this stage, but if you have somebody like a Blizzard, the new fusion that just came out for Christmas there, or if you have especially a Dark Elhain, those champions are very, very good for it, because obviously in the case of Dark Elhain, anytime somebody takes a freeze, she's just going to AoE and nuke people. With Blizzard, he can actually Basically just remove the freeze from himself at least, which is nice. I think there's somebody else that's immune to freezes too. I think it's Pixneal or something like that, but she doesn't have as much utility for this particular boss. I don't even know if we could pick her. There we go. Another nice hit coming in from Royal Guard. I believe in this content that max HP skills are limited to 5% of their max HP, which is just nuts. But I think if you have the champions, you should be able to utilize them. Otherwise, there's not much point in using them, right? And it's not like max HP champions that are completely broken don't exist. Like, we just have to look at Acrizia, right? Like, she's just insane. I suppose what they're doing is just making it so that low spending players struggle a bit more to get the max HP hits, right? The speed farms, we gotta make you get Acrizia or somebody like that. Probably one of my biggest regrets in this, it's not really a regret because I didn't have a choice, but I didn't get Newt when he was the fusion, and he is just almost mandatory for so much content, like Fire Knight Hard, for example, or even some of the later stages of Sintranos. Newt is so useful. I was actually visiting family at the time it came out, so obviously had different priorities there, and I don't regret it because I certainly wouldn't have rather been playing the game as opposed to, you know, being with family, but I regret it in the way that I don't have him now, right? Like, obviously, so it is what it is, I suppose. We're almost through here. I'm just curious to see what we get for gear and how many of the potions as well. Probably nothing too crazy, but we'll see. And we are keeping the burn up without an issue, so we're definitely going to be able to put him down here and not have to worry about him coming back or her coming back, whatever it is. There we go. Yukaro gets the final kill. All legendary pieces, pretty much. I'm keeping almost all these pieces for right now because if I get good rolls, I can actually go ahead and, you know, just ore them, which is nice, especially now that we're getting mythical chaos ore and whatnot from here now. I'm also loving the fact that we get the mythical charms, so we can start making mythical pieces of other sets, which is fantastic. Overall, I feel very positive about the city of Sintranos, but that's going to do it for today. That is day number 2. I think I already showed the team for this, but that's my team for the spider, and then this was the team that I used to beat Bommel there as well. So if you guys need some ideas, hopefully that helps. Thank you guys all so much for watching. See you next time.